This is a PSA on this volcano, Mount St. Helens in Washington State. Now let's start with how many types of volcanoes there are. We have cinder core, which is smaller, it's less than 1,000 feet tall. Composite is large, between 6,500 feet and 20,000 feet. And shield is very large, and max up to 30,000 feet tall. Mount St. Helens is a composite volcano, which means it is it's between 6,500 feet and 20,000 feet. A volcanic eruption produces water vapor, carbon dioxide, and sulfur dioxide. And not all of volcanic eruptions are the same. For example, some may be explosive and others may not be. Mount St. Helens was definitely explosive. Mount St. Helens is located in southern Washington State, around 50 miles northeast of Portland, Oregon. Mount St. Helens erupted on May 18, 1980. The eruption caused about 1,500 feet to be blown off of it, making it once 9,677 feet tall to build down to an 8,363 feet. The surrounding area of Mount St. Helens. There were forests, lakes, and rivers around the area of Mount St. Helens. There were a lot of animals in the area as well. Although whenever it erupted, forests were destroyed and blown down. Rivers changed course, and over 150 new lakes and ponds were formed as a result, as the lakes were filled with sediments. Now, moving on. Volcanic eruptions have affected humans in the past by triggering crop failures and famines. In the past 500 years, over 270,000 people have been killed directly or indirectly due to worldwide volcanic activity. Some prep and evacuation. Some signals that an eruption will happen is an increase in the frequency and the intensity of earthquakes. Before volcanic eruption, there are usually a couple of days, weeks, or months worth of earthquakes and tectonic shifts to be able to know about it. Technology has advanced enough to usually have sirens or warnings before a volcanic eruption occurs. And water evacuation routes have been provided for Mount St. Helens. There are currently plans such as the Mount St. Helens Mount Adams Volcanic Region Coordination Plan, designed to provide the most educated procedures to follow whenever in the event of another eruption to prevent those at most property, the environment, and individuals' property destruction. Speaking of that, this is the thing that was signed. The Washington State Emergency Management Division sincerely appreciates the cooperation and support from the agencies and local jurisdictions that have contributed to the development and ultimate publication of the Mount St. Helens Mount Adams Volcanic Region Coordination Plan. The plan provides that Mount St. Helens Mount Adams volcanic incident response information for that the areas should be most affected by a volcanic incident. This should help planning efforts for several Washington counties, private sector, multiple state and federal agencies, the Yakama Nation, and Cowlitz Indian Tribe. The plan is consistent with the National Incident Management System (NIMS) and supports the complements local response plans, the National Response Framework (NRF), and the Washington Comprehensive Emergency Management Plan (CEMP). The Mount St. Helens Mount Adams Volcanic Region Coordination Plan is an important element in a coordinated effort to enhance our region's preparedness for emergencies and disasters. The plan embraces the philosophy and vision of a disaster-resilient state and should empower local communities to minimize the impacts of volcanic activity on people, property, the environment, and the economy of the Pacific Northwest. The plan should be updated to reflect necessary enhancement identified and exercised in real-world incidents. These updates should not require renewal of signatures. The signatures below are key agencies, jurisdictions, and tribes engaged in a coordinated response to Mount St. Helens Mount Adams volcanic or volcanic-related incident. The signatures represent an agreement to follow the process and procedures in this coordination plan. And there are some signatures. And some here too. You can see from this graph, the amount of earthquakes around Mount St. Helens has increased since 2011 to 2020, and I believe that this graph will continue to increase as the activity of this volcano continues. So, as I said before, it would be amazing if you guys continued to keep watch on the activity of Mount St. Helens and be prepared in case you need to evacuate.